Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am one of your hosts, Chrissy Souders, on JH Creative Facebook page. We are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, the founder of JH Creative, Julia Hawley. Hey, Julia.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Again. Doing well.
And we also have a fantastic guest today here, Chris York with Monogram Art. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how are you doing?
Not too bad. So we are actually going to be starting off with getting creative with JH Creative, but also with JHC and friends. So without further ado, Julia, what are we wanting to discuss today?
So I wanted to cover just pretty much the topic of getting creative. So I thought it would be best to invite friends and even clients of mine. And today I wanted to invite Chris because he's always been a great person to collaborate with ideas. He just has a really extensive background in marketing and digital marketing as well. And right now he specializes in corporate apparel, and he's very passionate about it and helping people. So I thought it would be very helpful to just have him on the show and talk about what he's doing with his business, Monogram Art.
And for everyone who's watching right now, we want to encourage you to go ahead and share this live stream on your Facebook pages as well too. And make sure you comment and ask questions with us throughout today's broadcast because we'd love to hear from you. All righty. So let's start off with getting to know Chris a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about your business, Chris.
Well, actually the business is 10 years old as of early this month or right at the beginning of July. But it started as an e-commerce business, and it was a side hustle. It started in our living room or kitchen table, and it grew from there from e-commerce. In the last few years, we've transitioned into more of a corporate apparel. I guess that's what I would call it. A lot of custom apparel, hats, shirts, that sort of thing. And really that business to business transaction. We still do some retail things, but it's more, I enjoy the relationships working with marketing directors and owners of companies, and just really trying to build their brand, but in the apparel way. If they're advertising and you're the face of the business, you might as well wear your brand. That's our saying. So I try to make sure I carry that brand consistency across, I guess the apparel line, that form of media instead of, digital or print, whatever. So I like to be a partner, if you will, with my customers. So.
Awesome. Yeah. So the reason why, and also, how we met, I figured we can talk about that too, is that Chris and I had met through BNI. We have several chapters here in town in Tallahassee. And I feel like I picked the best chapter in town because we have really great people and great teammates. Shout out to Big Bend Business Builders. Chris York is the president of our chapter. And so it's been 5 years now as team members.
I think so. It is a really great chapter. I will say that. So
yeah. So we really have helped one another in many different ways, passing business to each other. And Chris has always referred business to me, connected me to great people. So I really appreciate him for that. So Chrissy, I figured we could show his website if that's okay with you. For anyone who hasn't done so already, check out his website. And he also has a great Instagram page. He features his work daily, great examples. And I wanted him to get a chance to also show his shop, just some of his products that he has in the backdrop over there. Show us a little bit about, some of the projects that you're doing and what's ahead for you.
Well, yeah, what's ahead? I guess we all don't know, but we're trying to keep growing. And I'll kind of go back to where, we started as e-commerce, and this website you're looking at now is our new website, and it's geared more for the corporate world. The tab right at the top has a stores link. That is for if you have your own brand or company, you can go there and have your employees go purchase the apparel. or maybe you're just purchasing it yourself, but it's all online. You can throw in the sizes. We have the select, items already up there. So it's great for repeat orders and that sort of thing. It feeds right into our order management system, and we fulfill it and ship it or call you when it's ready. Of course, this site also, you can do your own design stuff, and we can print. So I guess you asked about the things behind me. I do a lot of hats. And I think I was told I was the biggest Richardson dealer in the area. So that's a pretty, good feather to literally have on my cap. And if you're not familiar with Richardson, it is a cap company. They probably have one of the hottest hats right now in America. They transitioned from stick and ball sports to more corporate and just, brands in general. But
they're the best. I mean, to me, they fit at least the caps that you've given me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very comfortable in them. And usually I don't like a lot of hats.
Yeah, and they have a great lineup. I know for most of my customers, it seems like we're, I call them the essential workers. It's the trade industries across the board. They have a great mesh back hat for our climate that is wonderful. It has a little bit of structure. So I've always got samples in, and it kind of shows the work. And
do you want to show us some, like just really up close? If Chrissy, do you mind zooming out again, and so we can kind of get a close-up look?
If I can do this without messing up. So, like here's a patch hat, and this has a little bit of 3D foam in it, which a lot of folks don't like doing, but I'm kind of a hat snob. So I like doing, things that are a little bit tougher. I've gotten some customers because I was willing to go the extra mile to make the embroidery right. And I think that's just kind of the way I want to do business, is if we can't do it, we can't do it. But if it's in our wheelhouse, we're definitely going to try to be the best in town. We're not the biggest, but maybe one day we'll be with the big guys, but we're more about the quantity over the quality, or I said that totally backwards. We're quality over quantity, I should say. Yeah. Still quantity.
Right.
We gotta have the numbers. So.
We had a feeling that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Do you have anything running right now?
I actually have some foam hats on our 2 single head machines.
Cool.
So it's kind of cool. I can show you really a quick, process, or
yes, please.
If you want. So basically, let me see if I can do this right. This is a finished product, or it's on the machine still. But what we're doing with this hat is it's going to be 2-part. That is flat embroidery that you see. I ran that and I stopped the machine, and then we laid foam on the top. And so I'm going to run this real quick. It's going to take it a minute, but basically, that's annoying. So it's gonna, the thread.
Oh no, it was totally fine. It wasn't even loud or anything.
Okay, well, it's really loud here. So, but it'll run. I'll let it run though. And that the thread covers the foam to give the embroidery a little bit of depth. So you have on this particular hat, we will have a flat embroidery, and then also a puff. And let's see.
Cool.
Probably, if I can do this with the angle.
See that I like those colors a lot.
Yeah, and this customer is actually down in Lake City, and they've got it's a brand that started as a Facebook page, and it's about hunting and fishing. They have a lot of followers, like 25,000 followers or so. So they started selling their own hats and shirts, and we do all the hats for them and ship them down. And they've got some great looks. These are just a few. I mean, he probably has 30 different hat colors. It's a pretty cool to see a Facebook group go from just an online community to something that they're creating a product to sell, as a side business for the gentleman that started it.
That's really cool. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of tips these days, they're saying that it's almost better that you build a following first before you start selling anything. It's actually easier that way. Well, it does take some time and investment, obviously, up front to do that.
I think they've as far as the marketing side, I don't know if that was their intention when they started, but it sure has worked out for them. So, hey, Ashley.
So, Chris, what's one of your favorite items to work on? I know you're a hat snob, but is there a particular item you like to work with?
I do like hats, and maybe because we do a lot of hats, I wear a hat almost every day. I guess, but another thing that's unique is it's because we're not a full, large scale printer or, like a traditional screen printer. We also do direct to garment, which is basically a newer way of digital printing. I know the purists don't like it, because you're not pushing ink through a screen. But when it comes down to it, we can do some really cool, on 100% cotton, multicolor designs that are incredible. And basically, I can have that shirt ready in a couple minutes versus there's no screens. And it allows me to get back to my design background, have a little more flexibility with artwork, and really produce some really great designs. Or especially if I'm working with someone like Julia that has those art capabilities, we can take that and put it to the fabric instead of saying, no, we're only doing a 1 or 2 color screen print. The direct to garment kind of is a whole nother level. So
I forgot to mention I'm wearing one of his shirts too.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just been great. Like I haven't had to figure out what to wear the entire quarantine because I have 10 of these shirts and I just put it on and look professional. It hasn't been super hard to figure out what to wear.
So I can show you, I'll try to hang it up here. This is for our customers over in Jackson County. It's a new brewery over there, Southern Fields. And I didn't do the art of that. I've got a shout out to Natalie over at Monster House. She does some great work. She does all their beer labels, but we're able to take that design and put that on cotton. And if that was a traditionally screen printed shirt, it would be, I don't even know what it would cost because of the amount of colors in it. They would have to order, hundreds at a time to get the volume discount. And since they're kind of a retail, we're able to give them, a few dozen of each size or whatever they want to do and kind of keep their price point in a good spot where they have margins to work with since they're selling it in their location. But it's kind of fun. I'm more about helping the customer. And I think that drives the business, trying to be someone that helps solve problems, as Julie would say.
Yeah, no, it's great. You actually have a bunch giving you shout outs in the comments.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that to your attention, Chris and Julia. So we've got Tracy here, and Tracy says, Chris does great work. Holly says, he makes the best hats. Ashley says, Chris made my business monogrammed hats. I bought the hat from him and he did the monogramming. And she said, saved me a ton of money.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
And and so I wanted to follow up with those comments. Clearly, people really are excited about what you're doing because you're helping their business as well, too. How does it feel to know that you're helping small business owners in our community?
It feels good. I try to, like I said, I feel like I'm part of their team. Obviously, I'm providing a service, but Tracy was commented, actually, sorry, Tracy, I've got some shirts for you. I need to finish. So, but she's a great customer and the business she works for, that was one of the stores we've created online to try to it's more about making it easier for them and us at the same time. I think the brewery guys, I love working with them. They're just great people, but it's also, starting a new business as entrepreneurs, we all like that, the challenge of starting something new. And I feel like I might have just a little bit I can give that helps them. It's not just apparel, it's just the conversation. And that, I think that's one reason, like Julia mentioned, our B&I group, that was one, I wish I would have joined that 3 or 4 years ago, because I got to know people like Julia and other folks, and it just makes that business education so much, it comes together.
Right.
And I like being part of the team.
And the other neat thing that you do for small businesses is that you don't put a minimum. At least there's some companies will say we will only, provide that service with a minimum order. And
Right.
so I appreciate how you've been very generous in the first couple of years of doing
Well,
services.
yeah, and I think that's I know me and you have talked a lot about that kind of stuff, but
Your daughter.
hey Lily, so I think since we started from an e-commerce platform and our equipment is top of the line, we have Bearden machines, but because we started with e-commerce doing one-offs in the Monogram space, if you will, it allows me to do those small orders without tying up a large machine. Whereas a lot of the embroidery companies and big print shops, they have really large equipment. So that is why they charge a lot for a small order. It's too much setup time. There's too much time involved. And, which I totally understand, but it's just the
Right.
way our business model changed, and it allows us to just keep those small orders in place. I mean, the small businesses, bread and butter, I got to have the big accounts too, but those small and medium businesses are the ones that I order all the time. So, and you get more referrals from small businesses. I mean,
You're right.
they're happy. It's their brand. It's their item. They're wearing, that they're showing their own stuff, and they're very proud of it. If
I
do
love
it
your
for-
tagline, wear your
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah, so that's it. And it's if we do it for a large company, I need those accounts. But at the same time, if I only know the owner or the marketing person, the person that's 100 deep on the totem pole, they don't know where the shirt came from. They just like the shirt. So
You also, sorry to interrupt a little bit, but I really liked what you did for my husband's company. How, I mean, it's not like you can't handle a larger volume. He set up an online page for the business, and the person who manages their corporate apparel can just place orders as they come whenever they have, if they gain new team members, vice versa, if they had to pretty much replace team members. Anyways, it's been super easy for them to place orders.
Yeah, and that's one way we're trying to grow the business, because with our background, it's pretty comfortable for me to do the website stuff. I need to have the product to touch. I can't work on websites all the time. I love having a product to touch at the end of the day. I feel like I accomplish more, even though doing a web page is hours and hours. But the system we have, a lot of other printers and embroiderers use this type of system, but I don't think they use it properly. I think they kind of have the keys to the machine, but they don't use it to the full potential. So, but it is a lot of work. So
you got a lot of friends, Chris.
Yeah. I want to bring a comment up to you guys from Gianni Suber Dema. He also has a great eye for design and artwork needed on his products, but I'm prejudiced.
Yeah, that would be my mother. So yeah. So that's hey mom.
No, I would agree though, because I'm very picky about fabrics and materials and products, and he picks like the best lines. And so I wouldn't wear this shirt if I wasn't comfortable. It's not cheap fabric. I care about that. It's soft. I could wear it all the time. So it might look like I'm wearing the same shirt, but I actually have 10 of these. So it's super awesome that you've selected a great line of products and you provide really great customer service.
Well, and I think it's it's all about the service in the end. It doesn't matter what we're doing. I value the relationships more than anything. So yeah, I do need to go back to my mom because it is her birthday. So I like happy birthday, Mom. So
You're so funny.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's
your whole family's on, actually, I think.
Yeah, I just saw my brother. He's in Idaho, by the way. So
that's cool.
That's
yeah,
cool.
And you've mentioned to me that you have your family has been doing this, right?
So my my dad and stepmother and one of my brothers out west, they have a large embroidery. So a large embroidery screen printing operation. And so in the summers growing up, I spent my summers out west. So this was a natural fit for me. It wasn't something that, I kind of came back to it, if you will. I tied the graphic design background and web design and it kind of, they all mesh together with the embroidery. So I guess it's, the full circle effect, if you will.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I never planned on opening my business, and my dad started a business a long time ago, and I grew up with them running a business. I never planned on doing this as well. So it just kind of like happens, I guess.
Me too. My business started completely by accident. So I never thought I was going to be going into the art world. I was a broadcast journalist for a decade and just had no idea that this is where I would be.
And Chrissy does amazing. Like, I love the jewelry she puts together. It's custom art jewelry, right?
Yeah, and customization is huge right now. The cool thing about customization is that people, they don't want to have the same thing as everybody else. And so that's the great thing about Monogram art. That's the great thing about any products that you can customize as well too. And for Chris to be able to do the smaller orders as well too, and really find a good price point for that is a big deal. And in Chris's world, everything is always changing as well too. So like the direct to garment or sublimation or that type of thing, you're always having to be on the cutting edge of it as well too. So how have you been navigating that world, Chris? Because it's always changing, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, we do the sublimation and the direct to garment. You can't, I don't know, as far as the equipment, your challenge, you can only do so much what it'll allow, but it is changing every year. New machines come out, new technology, whether it's software. I feel like the stuff we have is up to date, right now, but, in 3 or 4 years, we might have to change that. Fortunately, I think, I don't really know. I don't really have an answer for that, except, you have to pay attention to the trades and to the trade shows, your industry, the magazines and all the articles and stuff like that. But I don't really have a good answer, but I try to stay up on it.
Makes it fun, right?
Yeah,
and exciting. Yeah. So Julie, a question for you, because obviously you're the guru of, making people look good as far as marketing and branding themselves. What would be some advice for business owners who are watching right now, interested in really fine-tuning their brand?
Well, thank you for that question. I'm all about making great first impressions. And so, especially for my own business, I think investing in anything that will enhance your brand is always a great thing, because especially it depends on your demographic, the target market that you're going for. So as with apparel, for example, since we have Chris on, I think it's obviously a great thing to have professional attire, branded attire for events. You should have that. Your team members should represent you. So I really think it's a must. You have to consider these kinds of options, especially nowadays. I know things are kind of tight with the economic situation, but you got to be smart about what you invest in too. So we have to consider all of those things. And I was going to ask Chris, actually, like, how have you been managing with everything, with the shutdowns? And you see a lot of different business owners. And, what is your general, I guess, feeling and impression about what's going on?
For us, it like everybody else, definitely March and April were terrible. I think because we do so much in the service industry or trades, a lot of those folks were still working. So they might have held their dollars a little close, to them to make sure they weren't going to lose jobs or, those things coming up. But since May, it's been picking up, and we're kind of rolling along right now. I would actually say, this month has been better than this month last year. We're trending up as far as kind of bouncing back, which I think is really good. At the same time, I have customers I know that aren't working at all. So it's kind of like for everyone that maybe is still not able to work, we have someone else that's busier than they've ever been. But for us, it was, we're offering masks. It's not not something I like to do. I feel like then you're chasing whatever the bad thing is. Like, oh, we're right now masks are hot and everybody's wanting to print them. I offer them to our customers. We have some on our website just because people would call and want some. But what it's done for us is open up the door, for future conversations for people that needed them and couldn't get them. It's like, oh, well, you can do hats or shirts. So that's where, we're trying to at least make some use out of them as far as the marketing, if that will, or, just open up the door to those new customers. But it seems like as a whole, most of our customers are doing well, or at least they're maintaining. And I think that's all you can kind of hope for. But for us, I'm happy to where we're at right now. I can't complain at all. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I've been watching a lot of, webinar series, just kind of learning a lot, taking in as much as I can during this time, to get a lot of inspiration. And anyways, it's been super helpful to kind of pause and consider what it is that we're doing, having self-evaluation. How can we improve internally? And what can I do to help others during this really, really difficult time? And so I'm really glad that you're doing well in general, being pretty much having to be a brick and mortar too, and
Right.
take care of in-person services. So I'm glad.
Well, yeah, no, it's, I see Adam's comment there.
It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so it is, and I kind of agree with that. Like, it's a good time to change, maybe those habits or start the new habit, whether, it's personal or business. We've took the time my shop layout is totally different, and people aren't coming in, which is fine, because most of our folks are just picking up and stuff, but we're making room for new equipment to come in, and it's just a good time to, rearrange everything. But it's not just the store layout, it's kind of the way you think about business. And I think right now is the time to follow up with, which I don't do a good enough job with it. I feel like my strength is talking with other people or other business owners, but I need to do a better job of following up with them. And I think that's a way where I could improve, and that sort of stuff.
Get your COO.
Yeah.
Just chief of staff, executive assistant. It's the ongoing saga of the solopreneur.
Yeah.
Right, Chrissy? You too.
Yeah.
Well, also now's a good time to get creative,
Mm-hmm.
right, Julia?
Absolutely. And just a quick mention, I want to do this more often. I actually have a guest in mind for the next episode, and they said they are interested, and I want to kind of keep it as a surprise for now. And I'm really excited to bring on more people and clients as well. Super excited to do that. So anyways, I really appreciate the time that you've taken, Chris.
No, well, thanks for having me, guys. It's been great, Julia and Chrissy. I look forward to talking to both of you again in the near future.
Yeah. Did you want to say one more thing? Any kind of advice to small business owners out there?
Yeah, I don't really have that great advice. I don't know. But no, I'm kind of, my favorite quote I think of all time is actually from Iron Man, because when my son came along, we loved those movies, and Tony Stark is my favorite superhero, if you will. But in the first one, he says sometimes you have to run before you can walk. And it's when he first gets in the suit and flies out of the, jumps in it and flies through the roof or whatever. But I love that line. And not that that's probably the best advice to give, but if you're an entrepreneur, you're a gambler, and you just stay with it. So.
No, that's great. I mean, yeah. That's what I wanted to highlight too, is that some of the best inventions or innovations have come out of really, really tough times. Right. And that's what I keep hearing right now. So I'm like, okay, we can get through this. We can probably come up with a great invention. Who knows, right?
Yeah, do what you do best and make it about you, and make your service stand out, because people can go anywhere, but you know I like Julia because it's Julia. She has a great service, so she does great work. So that's where I love sending folks, and I like to think if she would do the same for me, and I know she does. So make it about that. So, well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I'm super excited about part 2 of this series. So Julia, if you could kind of just recap a little bit to people who are joining in a little bit late here, to explain to them a little bit about your focus and like what you're wanting to present with Get Creative with JH Creative.
Thanks, Chrissy. Yes, so for those joining us now, I wanted a 2-part series of inviting clients or friends, business associates, pretty much in the creative professional world, and just get some inspiration out there, helping others get ideas, or even just to feature some local businesses that I'm a huge fan of or really like. So just to help other people out. And I know it's 2-part, but I really hope that I can just pretty much extend the invitation further. And then I have a whole bunch of other educational topics to cover as well.
Yes, and so make sure you guys are watching for events posted on Facebook, because I know you have a lot of great ideas and topics to discuss as well too. A couple of things I know that you've mentioned: email marketing, also productivity with people that are working remotely right now, and those type of things that can help local business owners.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. My next workshop, and we have a live stream coming up this coming Monday, right? So my next workshop, which is private, and if you're interested, we're going to start pushing out information. So follow my Facebook page. Is going to cover social media marketing, and that is on the 23rd. So save the date, and it's free for now, because moving forward, I am going to charge. So you better take advantage of this. And I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from attendees that they're getting a lot of tangible ideas and they can take away from it and start implementing right away.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today for Get Creative with JH Creative. And I'm excited to meet more of your friends, Julia, in the coming weeks. Everyone, have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye.